What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Final Fantasy Entertainment and Podcast Network. It's final podcast time, and we're going to be talking about the games and media that inspired Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We're just kind of stuck in this little sweet spot right now, right? We're just kind of stuck in the sweet spot because we have news that is, we're on the cusp of the news dropping for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We know that at the beginning of this week, beginning of this week, the press and content creators were invited to go over and try out Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, meet the cast of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We got interviews dropping from that as well. We know that embargo is going to lift at some point. I have no idea when, but I can tell you that January 31st is Final Fantasy VII Day. Just saying, it might be kind of related there. So, with that being said, we have so much to talk about, so much hype to just let it out, to vent. We love to vent that hype. So everybody in chat, vent the hype. I will try and pay attention as best as I can this time around and get you on the show. You know, like read your comments and stuff like that. But speaking of people who watch the show and are in chat and commenting and stuff like that on the videos, I absolutely love to bring on fans of Final Fan TV that are in the comments and active like that, supporting what I do, and it means so much to me. And I got two Final fans right now. We'll start with Christian over here on my right. How you doing, Christian? I spelled your name wrong.
I'm fine, thank you.
Fix that for you. I just noticed it. Yeah. And then we have
No problem.
we have Tom. How you doing, man?
So good, man. I'm beyond thrilled to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, man. So let's get a little introductions right off the bat. So we're kind of doing this new thing. I'm kind of doing this new thing. Like, I think it's cool to ask you, what's your favorite Final Fantasy? What's your basically listen to my story type thing? You know, I mean, you're Titus right now, and I'm going to call him Titus. You're Titus right now, and you're saying, listen to my story. All right, what's your Final Fantasy story?
Oh, you're back. Yes.
You're back.
Chad, how we doing?
Yeah,
Did the stream stop? Should I start this over? Should I start it over, chat? Are we good? Let me get some chat in here. I need some feedback. At this point, I gotta start.
I can see and hear you.
You know what I mean? At this point, I kind of gotta start over, right? I don't know. Well, I'll edit it out. I'll edit it out in post. We'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Yes.
All right. We'll do it live. Freaking, what is going on? All right.
But it was actually at a convenient time because he hadn't started. No, none of us had started yet, you know.
We are not going to do what we did 2 nights ago for anybody who was tuning in. We're going to do a nice, successful, error-free stream, all right? That's what's going to happen here. All right.
Just a hiccup, someone says in the chat. Just a hiccup.
All right, cool. We'll edit that out. Anyways, what's your favorite Final Fantasy? And what's Final Fantasy? Basically, tell me your story, Tom.
So, this might sound a little weird, but it just goes to show how hyped I am for this game. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be my favorite Final Fantasy. And from everything I know so far, it's going to be my favorite game of all time. And, yeah. So, when I say from everything I know so far, I know Final Fantasy VII Remake really well. I've played through it 5 times. Didn't finish hard mode, mind you, but that's just me. At some point, it just gets too hard and the fun.
Yeah, hey man,
the motivation.
You enjoy it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I never beat Pride and Joy or anything like that. Anyway, so Final Fantasy VII Remake is my favorite Final Fantasy so far. And while I was playing it, I was constantly thinking, okay, the only thing this is missing to be perfect, like the perfect game for me, is an open world. And here we are.
Here we are.
So,
here we are.
My favorite, and the best game I'll probably ever play. I don't know. We let's see how part 3 is turning out.
Yes. I mean, what's really exciting about that is we are going to dive into the open world a little bit and things that inspired, like games and media that inspired that, and why it's even more exciting You know what I mean? All right, so over with Christian. What's your favorite Final Fantasy? What's your story?
Yeah, my favorite Final Fantasy is 7, the OG. But actually, the answer was very, very good, and I think also that the trilogy will replace the OG for me. Just because also of technical enhancement, right? So the OG cannot anything about it. So it was in '97, right?
Mm-hmm.
The world was different technically, and you have other possibilities today. So, uh, but sure enough, the OG is has laying the ground. So the soundtrack and everything was amazing. And yeah, I was 14 years old, '97, so I'm very, very old. And it was my first Final Fantasy, and I played it with my younger stepbrother. And illegally, we played through the nights.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and it is the whole experience and was amazing.
That's
That
awesome.
remake was almost perfect.
Mhm.
Almost. I see there also some bad things, but yeah, with Rebirth and this third installment, I think it will
The
be perfect.
That is so awesome. I love to hear that from you guys.
Hell yeah.
Whereas the remake trilogy basically is now becoming your favorite Final Fantasy, or is your favorite Final Fantasy. And then like the fact that you hold it in such high regard, even if it's matching the original or surpassing it in some cases. I think that's beautiful. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm really excited for you guys of that. I mean, of course, nothing will ever surpass the OG in my heart. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get what you're
You know,
saying.
actually, what I lack, as opposed to you guys, and I feel like most of the people in this community is I didn't play the original in '97. I was actually too young. I was too young to get JRPGs in general during that time. So my first Final Fantasy was 10. Absolutely loved it. But as far as nostalgia is concerned, that is out of the equation for me,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I don't have those nostalgia tinted glasses on, if you will.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you did go back and play it though, correct? Like you went back and played the
I
original?
I did. I did
Yeah.
after remake came out.
So cool. All
Only
right, so you
after
played
remake came out.
and then you went to the
Mhm.
OG.
I did
Nice.
because I felt like, okay, now I have to.
How
And I
did it hold
also,
up? Did it hold up? Do you still? I mean, what do you think?
well, the thing is, I always heard people talk about Final Fantasy VII and refer to it as like the best Final Fantasy, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I have to admit, I never got it because I didn't play it.
Right.
And then when remake came out, I was like, and I got to know all these characters and the world and the story. I totally got it. I was like, okay, this is better than all the Final Fantasies that I thought were like,
Right.
you know, the best of the best. And then I had to go back, and it did hold up really well because I already was familiar, like I was introduced to that world via remake, and I felt this urge to keep going that I didn't have before. You know, before remake came out, I didn't really have this. How do you say this? Yeah, motivation to
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
going.
Like a
Once I
desire,
started, I
yeah,
think
right.
I got to the tower. I think I got to not the tower, like the thing that holds the plate up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um,
The Sector Zero, the buildings, Shinra building.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
the when the plate before the plate falls, right before that. I got
Oh, the
there.
pillar. Yeah, Sector 7
Yeah,
pillar.
the pillar. Yeah, the pillar.
Yeah,
Exactly. And
yeah,
for
yeah.
some reason, I didn't keep going. I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't know why.
you stopped right before the plate dropped. You know.
If I had known what I was missing out on,
Right.
really, I'm kicking my old self.
That's good, man.
I'm
So,
kicking
I
my
love
old
the
self.
journey, man. I love that journey. So that's
Yeah.
really awesome. So,
And for me, still amazing how they achieved with remake to pull the characters right out of my head. Like I imagined them with the talk and so on in '97. And they pulled it right out of my head and put it into the remake, and it is still amazing to me. And
Yeah, it's like one thing I got to
I
tell
cannot
John.
explain how they do it.
Right, yeah. It was like one thing I got to tell John Bentley when he was on the show when we first started doing Final Fan TV. I was like, I was so happy to have John on the show. But one of the things I was able to tell him, I was like, I don't know if you know this, man, but you like retroactively replaced the voice of Barrett in my head from a child. Like, I mean, you are now Barrett in my head. Like, there's no other Barrett. Or like no other like voice that I can hear from the original game as Barrett. And yeah, I think that it's just really cool. So I love what you guys are saying for sure. So what I want to jump into is the games and media that inspired Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like I said at the top of the show, we got a lot to talk about when it comes to that. And then we have a lot of stuff to hype up, right? So just in case if you're listening to this podcast or watching this podcast at a later date, and I'm just saying like it could be literally tonight. Like it could be tonight, and you're just like you watch this podcast tomorrow and you're like, that's old news. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the media and games that's inspired Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So that way, if you're watching, you can just keep watching because we're gonna talk about that topic first, and then we're gonna get into what we like. We're gonna do some speculation. We're gonna get super hype about what's about to happen. So yeah, first things first. Let's talk about the games that inspired Final Fantasy VII. And what we mean by that is what the developers have actually been quoted saying inspired them. And the very first thing I'd like to point out was from the let's see if this works. All right, everything worked with the transition. All right, cool. The first thing I want to point out is Hamaguchi saying, this is the director, Naoki Hamaguchi, saying that the series was inspired by Final Fantasy XIII. So we have the Game Informer rapid fire questions there. He says, I do think that titles like Final Fantasy XIII, which I worked on, did give me inspiration. So there you go. And that's coming from Genki reporting it. And then, of course, Game Informer is doing the interview. But there you go. So Final Fantasy XIII, how you guys feel about that? Have any of you guys played Final Fantasy XIII?
Yes, same answer, same reaction to the question. When did you play it last, Christian?
Why they? Last a few years ago. But why did they switch it to this pipe levels? I don't get it. So,
yeah, that's it. Same exact answer. I tried to replay it recently.
Yeah.
I actually I bought it for Steam Deck because I thought, hey, it's not out. There's no Switch port yet. I've been waiting for a Switch port, and I've actually been hyped for a Switch port. And this is maybe where my hype is a little, I don't know, maybe too much or unnecessary, let's say, is I didn't even remember the game. I didn't even know if it was fun. I played through it once, like, I don't know, it feels like 10 years ago. And I tried, God knows, I tried to play it again. But it's just way too linear. It's too linear.
It's very, very linear. It's something we talked about. So now here's the cool thing about Hamaguchi saying he was inspired by 13. One of the things that we don't have to worry about is it's not gameplay wise that he was inspired by.
Yeah.
It seems like on Final Fantasy 13, based on finalfantasy.fandom.com, just wanted to double check, he was the lead cutscene programmer for Final Fantasy 13, and then he worked on 13.2 as the lead application programmer and the main programmer of Lightning Returns. So it was kind of I guess where I'm getting the inspiration from, like where I think he's saying like I was inspired by Final Fantasy 13. One of the things that 13 excels at, in my opinion, was having such a great, rich, world building. Like I really felt like the world or the narrative that 13 was trying to tell was fantastic. I love the idea of the Fal'Cie, l'Cie, and all that other stuff. I think it was just super well done. The gameplay was where it was kind of lacking, and I think that we all kind of agree with like the linearity and like the things like that about 13. But it kind of gets me excited about Final Fantasy 13 being an inspiration because I really love the world. I mean, look at this image. I mean, look at the freaking image of Cocoon. I love the characters of 13. I think they did a fantastic job with the characters of 13. 13 does so many things right, it just also does some things wrong as well. But one of the things that I think he maybe might be referring to is the world building and the characters of 13, which it does excel at there. So moving on to the next inspiration, I want to go to the next one. Let's go up. Hamaguchi mentions that the battle synergy combinations in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was inspired when he read Nojima's script leading up to the Forgotten Capital. So this one, game number 2, is actually Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. He's inspired by Rebirth. But he was inspired by Nojima, who is these, writing the scripts for these games. Let me go back. I want to see more of that. Where do I see more of that? That just kind of messed things up a little bit. There we go. And then he says again that he knows everyone is wondering about Aerith's fate. So they made sure to depict the connection between characters even in battle. I wonder if they are doing this. Oh, this is Audrey saying he wondered if they were doing this to rip our hearts out even more type thing. But basically saying that he was inspired by the script of Rebirth to incorporate that into the synergy and stuff like that. I think that is one thing that I wanted to highlight here as an inspiration, even though it's the same game. Like it's not an outside source. But I wanted to highlight that. Again, if you're watching this, we're probably going to be talking about spoilers for the original Final Fantasy VII and the compilation and all that other stuff. It's really hard to avoid. So if you don't want to hear anything about the original Final Fantasy VII, go ahead and you can click out of this. But basically,
I think we have to even do a bigger disclaimer this time. So I think we have spoilers for Final Fantasy VII OG, Final Fantasy Remake, Integrate, Final Fantasy 16, Witcher 3, Horizon, and the Star Wars OG trilogy. So.
He's like, listen, we are going all the way.
Does that still count as spoilers?
I'm
okay,
really...
yeah, he's his dad, by the way. He's his dad.
Oh, come on.
They're related. I didn't say who.
Sephiroth is Cloud's dad. Got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're basically, I think that's really cool to really build that synergy, the character development, and the bonds between them is going to be such a strong focus in Rebirth. And to support that, the reason why I highlight it as an inspiration is because the other games on this list do an incredible job at that. Yeah, basically that's being one thing to strengthen the bonds of the characters, to make you feel something at the end of it. And then that was from Audrey, and then Genki. This is leading me right into the next thing. Hamaguchi says that for the open world of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, they gained experience in Final Fantasy 15. But as he is a big fan, he was also inspired by The Witcher and Horizon Forbidden West, but I think he was talking about Zero Dawn at the time. So they're taking cues from what worked in those games, but with their own take on it to make it unique to the Final Fantasy VII universe. Now that is, of course, talking about the open world concept, but where's it at? I wanted to bring up... Wait, that's not the one. Basically, The Witcher was quoted by Toriyama. I'm trying to figure... I can't find the Toriyama quote. And this might be it, actually. Yes. We did some extensive research and looked at it as a baseline in which Rebirth should be a type of title that can stand alongside it and have the type of content that would be satisfying to its players. And that was in response to Game Informer. The way they structured it was about side quests. So now we're tying everything back together with building the character relationship and things like that. The Witcher has some incredible side quests. So let's talk about side quests and how The Witcher could have inspired Rebirth. Christian, Tom, have you guys played The Witcher 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have to add a lot here, if you let me.
I will. That's why you're on the show, man. Let's go.
That's good because I really don't have anything to add.
Oh, cool. Well, you do the Star Wars thing, and we'll let Christian do The Witcher.
Yeah.
Christian, go ahead, take it away, man. How do you think Witcher 3 is going to inspire Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? What kind of aspects would you like to see taken from it, and all that other stuff? So let me hear.
Yeah, it can do it on 100 different things. So, starting, so objectively and general speaking, I think that that is true for every individual rating for a game or a quest in our case today, is the emotional impact that it has on us. These emotions can obviously be fun or humor, action, cinematic or hands-on, horror, so scary things, sadness, and last but not least, the good old romantic. So, so I think the opposite of all of these points would be boring and forgettable. So that would be the flip coin, I
Yeah.
would say.
I mean, like
So,
searching for cats in slums. So
Yeah.
fetch
So,
quests.
correct. So, yeah, and The Witcher 3 is amazing in many ways, but especially in the quest category. So, but why is it? So, an easy answer would be so it seems that it strikes or it checks many of the points that I just mentioned to the most people. So many people think that it hits their emotionally, right? So, so to get the elephant out of the room, so if you talk about The Witcher, you have to talk about Gwent, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
so there is
Queen's Blood.
there is a reason there is a reason why they could extract it as a separate game, actually. So a mini game to a separate game. I think that does not happen all too often, right?
Yeah, with like
So
Queen's Blood
and
coming in and being like a kind of almost a core aspect of some of the side quests. And we've actually seen where somebody lost 2 cards or something like that. We saw that side quest notice on the comm in or the comm board. Yeah.
That
was
actually
like
stresses me out so bad. Like
It's like
in
integrated.
in Final Fantasy VIII, I lost all the cards I had, and then I was like, "Ah, f this, f this. And I really hope I'm doing better at Queen's Blood than I did at Gwent. I can only hope. I'm so bad at all of these kinds of card games
Yeah.
in video games.
Well, it's
But
like
I
yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead.
sorry, I actually liked a game that is super like it should be boring on paper, but I had so much fun at the that pinball game in Final Fantasy 15, you know, where you can get all
Yeah.
these OP items really early on if you spend, I don't know, 2 hours just pressing the same button over and over.
Yep.
And I had fun, you know. It was easy. You didn't really lose very easily.
I think those mini games that Final Fantasy offers, and like even with Gwent, speaking of Witcher, like and Queen's Blood being the equivalent, I guess. I think what's really nice about it is it changes up the pacing, and it allows you to tell side quests in a more interesting way than just saying like, "Hey, go over here, kill these monsters, come back to me, and talk about it," or even just go over here, grab some kittens, and make sure they like that kind of stuff. But now it's like, okay, now I can do games like I can do. Hey, a side quest that says we need you to go win a chocobo race. We need you to go win a card game. We need you to, these kind of things, switch up and add variety and make the side quests even more exciting. And hopefully, and we're going to get into it in a minute. I think Christian's about to get there too. If it's Witcher style, it's about to get even more interesting. Go ahead, Christian.
Yeah. Yeah, so just can confirm it. So what have Gwent, Triple Triad, and Tetramaster in common, beside that they are a card game? So they can be collected all over the world.
That's right.
That's an important part. To have all of them is talking to our inner collector, and it's necessary at some point to be able to compete with the best of the best, right? So without the best cards, you cannot win at the end anymore. So, and I like these games so much. I put hours into them, so in all of them. So, and without that, there is a reward with a trophy or something. So I did it because it was fun and it was challenging, right? So I had a natural interest to do it, right? So that is the epitome, I would say. So yeah, so if the Gwent is out of the way, so then there is the mechanic of finding quests in the first time. So many games these days have a point where they spawn all the icons on your map, right? So in best case, you have
Ubisoft.
to conquer a tower. I was about to say it.
Yeah.
And then you have 100 icons on your map, and then it's like, okay, that is part of the enjoyment, right? So yeah, so at least for me, so I
So is
can always
that's kind of like
sorry.
something Witcher did, right? Like where it was like it kind of just like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is kind showing, at least from what we can see, is that the map is there, but you haven't uncovered the map. You're kind of like you're getting little chunks of the map at a time, with some of the side quests popping up when you hit those Chadley Towers and things like that. It doesn't seem super littered with a lot of side quests. I think where it's going to really matter is if those side quests are going to provide something as interesting as what Witcher does as well. So like it's got to give you something that's really really rich in the narrative as these side quests, and I think we'll talk about that in a second as well. Go ahead, Christian.
Back. And you're back.
We'll be back. Are we maybe like, let me hear it on the chat as well.
Right, let's pretend like nothing happened.
Hey, all right, go ahead, Christian. You can keep on going.
Yeah,
Christian,
okay,
as well.
so
Like,
right, so in Witcher 3 I was saying there are even books, if you read them you receive a quest. So it's not visible that the book will result in a quest if you read it, right? So yeah, that's also that is one of the ways to getting a quest without spamming my map with icons, right?
That's
So
actually super interesting, because so I've never played Witcher 3 to that point that you're mentioning right now, and like rewarding someone to that extent for like checking out everything there is to check out in the world, that is so awesome. And that's also what I would hope Rebirth to be. Did Christian just leave?
it looks like we lost your video, Christian.
Oh, and now I'm Christian. I'm Christian now on the stream.
All right, so while
do you
Christian,
still hear me, or
I can
just
still hear
don't
you.
see
Yeah,
me?
so you can go ahead and keep talking if you want to.
I mean, we
Yes,
just swapped
I can.
places.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll,
Okay.
I
we'll
have
get,
no
once you
idea
get
what
your
my
video.
browser just did, but I touched nothing. So okay, but I think my face is not that important.
Just
So
see if you turn off your camera and turn it back on. Maybe that'll work. That little icon at the bottom left, you can turn it off, turn it back on.
bottom left.
So like when you hover over the Discord, at the bottom left, there's a turn off camera, and turn it
Yeah,
back
I
on.
saw it. Yeah.
There you go. Awesome.
Alright.
You're back.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So yeah. So but now we are getting more and more to the important parts. So quest lines and totally changing quests. So you start a quest with the expectation of something easy. Let's say find some herbs around the corner, right? So, but then the whole thing explodes in your face, and after visiting 3 cities, finding mages of a secret 1,000 years old cult that has also they are also on the hunt for these herbs. It ends on 1 hour later on another island and fighting something that is 10 times bigger than you and is protecting the herbs. So that is what I mean. So also that is done very little in other games. So that was just an example, a fictive
Yeah,
example,
and
right?
I kind of
So
want to jump on that too. So what Witcher?
yeah,
Like,
it's,
yeah, I gotta
so
jump
but
on it, man.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so changing up what you so the equivalent in remake would be, okay, you have the expectation to change some filters, right? So and you as Cloud are bored as hell, and then no ideas. It turns out that you have to fight and max something to get the filter or some. So it evolves. Let's say it evolves, right? It's not from the beginning clear what you have to do, right? So there in Witcher 3, there are definitely quests that take up to 1 hour or longer. So and that is very uncommon, I would say.
Yeah, so to kind of go off of that just a little bit too, whereas The Witcher offers, I guess it's kind of like this escalating side quest type thing. And I think Final Fantasy 16, I think Kalia said this in chat, was like, I think wasn't Final Fantasy 16 inspired by Witcher as well? Which I think Final Fantasy 16 did have some excellent world building side quests. But I think what Witcher does is it takes this idea, this concept of like, yeah, you introduce, and I love to see what happens with Red 13 with the Chocobo thing, right? So I'm already engaged. It seems like I'm learning more about Red. I get to spend a little more time with Red during that side quest that they showed at the Thailand game show. What's his name? The ranch guy. I can't think of his name right now. It was like Olive or something. But he asks you to go find something, and Red 13's like, I got a nose, I can go find that. And then they make jokes about what Chocobo's got better nose. And then they kind of he's like competing with Chocobos, trying to make sure he's the one that finds it. I love that. That is that already is off to a good start to me. Like I'm getting to spend time with my boy Red. I'm getting to learn more about him. I'm getting to basically do the side quest with him. Now, where it's going to turn into, if that Witcher inspiration seeps into it, is that on that quest, I would love to see where it goes. I'd love to see if that quest ends up being something way more important than what you're getting. Like if it's going to be like you get to the end of the trail and you find something that's like, oh wait a second, there's something really strange going on. Like a Witcher style would be what was it, the one side quest in Witcher where you had to go investigate a tower of mice, right? Like it was a tower full of mice, and when you get in there you learn this incredible story about a ghost who was cursed basically because she thought that her husband ran away and she's like left her, and she was very vengeful, like a vengeful spirit. But then you have to go find that husband, and you find out the husband actually just thought she was dead, so he left. Like he thought she was goner, and he comes back, and it's an emotional scene where they get together, and he cures her of the curse by just proving his love to her. And it's just like, it was just this, wait a second, I thought it was just the Tower of Mice. I was supposed to go in there and clear out some mice. You know what I mean? So I think that should be and then there was another Witcher side quest that was put you in a role of basically the detective. So you're going in, I'm hoping Rebirth kind of, maybe if they are truly inspired by Witcher and how that side quest system, one of the best side quests, you could probably look it up on freaking gosh, who's the YouTube channel that does it? Is it Game Rant? Or who does the top 10? You could probably look this up and say what was the best 10, the top 10 Witcher side quests, Witcher 3 side. I bet this one's on there. It is called Cardinal Sins, and you act as a detective, and the choices that you make during the side quests actually start to impact the overall story. So yes, in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right, you have that little wheel dialogue of choices you can make. So where I'm going with this is, with Witcher, you're doing a detective story. You have to find out, it's like a whodunit, and you can accuse people, and you can accuse the wrong people, and you can make wrong decisions where more people start dying. Like it's like you just lit another body rack up, and then if you accuse the wrong person, they don't. Like I think you find out later that you accuse the wrong person because the killer's still on the loose, and you're like, oh shoot, what did I just do? You know what I mean? So I think that's the kind of side quest that I feel is so super exciting, and that of course built up relationship with one of the characters in Witcher as well. Like it was like a character that you could romance. So like you're also getting the character moments as well in that. Oh wait, no. I think maybe I got that mixed up, but it's been a while since I played it. But either way, like you're getting these really deep lore, world building side quests and character building side quests in Witcher.
Yeah.
And like I said, character or player choice is impactful as well. So I'd love to see that come into play during the side quests, especially with Gold Saucer Date being one of the impacts of the choices you make during these things. But yeah, even just in the self-contained side quests, let us make choices that might impact the ending of that side quest that might be different than what somebody else did. I think that would be super important if they can take that inspiration. That's something I would like to see that we don't know from Witcher. So what do you think? Yeah.
I have also a concrete example of a quest. It's Ladies of the Wood.
Ladies of the Wood.
That was.
Which one was that?
That was just think about the three witches that look really, really, really ugly. So, and in that quest, you actually have to. So there is no happy ending. Mm-hmm. So. That is what you explained. So there are consequences to all our actions, right? So just like in real life. So there is a decision then if the kids are dying, children, I think, or if a lady is dying or something. So, but someone will die. So, and you have to decide. Okay, do I kill one person to save the others, right? Or do I do it not, right? So this kind of choices, and that is awesome. So there has not always be a happy end, right? So it is like a real life. So
it
actions have consequences.
Exactly, man. And what also I love about it is it does support the theme of the overall narrative that they're trying to tell. One example that and this is outside of direct inspirations, so I won't spend too much time on it, but basically I think one of the best games to do side quests is God of War. The new ones, both Ragnarok and the original God of, or the first God of War on PS4. I think they do side quests so well because if you pay attention, each story that is told in those side quests serves the main character, like serves the characters and what they're going through, but they tell it in a different way. And they get the message out of that, but they tell it their own little contained stories, like the guy who there's so many examples of it, but basically Kratos can relate to it if you put it together by the player. So those make great side quests, and I think Witcher is phenomenal at doing that. Now, Vincent Graymore, I just want to give you a big shout out, man. Thank you so much for becoming a member here on YouTube. That really means a lot to me. Thank you for the support. So Christian, much as I want to keep talking about Witcher, how much we got? What do you want? We got a little bit more.
I don't want 2 points.
2 more points. Okay, let's hear it.
So they are also very small. Mm-hmm. So effort and reward. So an issue, in my opinion, just my opinion, with a few modern games, that they tell me upfront the reward. So do that hunt and you will get this and this. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't like that because it takes immediately one level of enjoyment away from me. So the unknown and the surprise, right? Mm-hmm. So what will I get if I do that and that? So that's one part of my motivation, right? To find out. And if they tell me always upfront, okay, you will get 100 gil and this ring, okay, then okay, fine, cool. Thanks for. I know it now. So that is just a little general thing, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Not knowing the end of
modern
it,
games.
what's at the end of it is part of the journey, right? Like that's what makes them exciting to do. I agree.
Yeah, and then there's one general other point where I'm indifferent, so I cannot tell if I'm pro or con at the end. So, um, so there's the topic of trophies, right? So
Mhm.
I'm not a trophy hunter, so maybe I just don't
Same
get
here.
it.
Mhm.
Uh, Nevertheless, I can acknowledge the effort to put into it, right? So
Mhm.
just because I don't do it, I can realize that it is a lot of work to achieve all the trophies, right? But yeah, I enjoy Zelda
Uh-huh.
for itself. I enjoy the
Yeah.
story. I enjoy solving the temples because the reward is a heart, and the reward is that I managed to solve the puzzle.
Mhm.
So so I mentioned Zelda because it's right on Nintendo. There is no trophy system.
Mhm.
So I can clearly say that there are games where I did something just to get the trophy, not because of fun. And is that good?
Mhm.
Question mark. So there are games I adore, like Batman Arkham City, but I would never solve all the Riddler puzzles
Ah, I did.
because because yeah, because on a specific point I just would do it for the trophy and not
Mhm.
because I have fun, because
Mhm.
they have overdone it in my opinion on that game, especially because there are 400 puzzles to solve. So
Yeah.
I mean, I
yeah, that is
mean,
something that where I would like to your opinion, right? There is I can see the pros and the cons of trophies. So
Mhm. It does seem like Rebirth is going to, at least from what I believe it was Hamaguchi-sen that said that the platinum is going to be a little more difficult to get this time around because of all the side quests, and I think that might be on there. So it might be one of those things where it's like, hey, if you want the platinum, you're gonna have to do these things. Like you're gonna have to do the chocobo racing and things like that. You have to be like a Queen's Blood master, things like that. I think are going to be required for trophy. Which, hey man, trophy's a trophy. You don't have to get them. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to beat the game on hard mode if you don't want to. You know, right? You know what I mean, Tom? So it's just kind of like play it the way you want to play it. So I don't think trophies are going to be like that's not really big issue to me personally. What were you going to say, Tom?
I was just gonna say, I'm glad that Christian brought up Zelda first because I'm such a huge Zelda fan,
Mm-hmm.
and I was worried I was gonna talk about Zelda too much and compare to Zelda too much. But he also mentioned there are 400, and I've never played Arkham City. I've only played Asylum.
Yeah,
400 Riddler quests, but there are 900 Korok
Korok
seeds
seeds. Yeah.
in Breath of the Wild, and I actually collected all of them, and I was having fun,
Yeah,
even though I knew that the reward I was gonna get is a piece of poop, basically.
it
Just
was. Yeah, it was.
so like nothing. It's really nothing.
It's like here you go, man. Great
Yeah,
job
it's
collecting all
just the
900 of
just the image of a piece of poop in your
them.
inventory. But
As
I
a
was actually
testament to
having
it, yeah,
fun.
yeah,
And I couldn't believe how much fun I was having while I was doing that really monotone task. Because
yeah.
after 20 Korok seeds, you pretty much figured out like what it's gonna be. It's gonna be either A, B, C, D, E, or F kind of puzzle.
Yeah.
But still, somehow, like I had this physical map, and just going through the map and marking all the spots where the Korok seeds are gonna be
Yeah.
on my in-game map was so much fun. And then going there and finding it, and I
One
don't
thing
know.
that could like we were talking about in the last stream that we did about 2 nights ago was that those soldiers, those little toy soldiers, the 135ths in Final Fantasy 7,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
original, that would actually I was like, dude, I would actually want that. Like let me find these little tiny things scattered across the world. We searched for Moogle medals last time, so let's give us those little soldiers. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're basically doing. They're filling this world map. It was one of the 5 main points of Rebirth was to fill the world map with things to do, lots of things to do, and the fact that they are listing Witcher 3 as one of those big inspirations for side quest content in particular, I think is very very awesome. Because like the other thing that would have made that better, like I said, is God of War, because those two games do side quest content so good. And the fact that we throw in mini games, and I think what was it?
So many.
Richard Jenkins in chat says, Ghost of Tsushima side quest content was very well done.
I love Ghost of Tsushima.
Right, with the haikus, and Ghost of Tsushima also seems to be a little bit of an inspiration because of the little baby chocobo you can follow.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking of. The foxes that you follow to the shrines.
Yeah. So there's that
such
as well.
A nice.
It wasn't
such a neat little.
Yeah. It wasn't directly
I have to say
mentioned, but it has to be, right? It has to be an inspiration.
Yeah, yeah, obviously. I also loved how they managed the whole. I don't know how to say it in English, really. When you don't know where to go next, and they didn't put it on the UI as a marker or anything up top.
Yeah,
with the wind, where you press the button, then the wind blows into the direction you have to go to the next marker. That is such a sweet design choice. I've loved it so much.
I agree, man. And I mean, it does seem like Rebirth is kind of navigating you a little bit along the way. And we don't know how that's gonna go, right? It might not be like we mentioned Ubisoft earlier with all of their like boom scattered across the just freaking go. Like have some just go out there and do everything. Here's a bunch of icons. So we don't know how cluttered that's going to be, or how hand-holdy it's going to be. But hopefully, like what we're, with these inspirations that we got here, and we've only really talked about Witcher right now, and we're gonna go ahead and go over to Horizon Zero Dawn, which does that, but they also do side quests really well. They do their map really well as well. Like the map is beautiful. It's condensed but jam-packed with good stuff. So let's go over and talk about the Horizon right now. Like, Tom, did you play Horizon Zero Dawn by any chance?
I did, and I just finished the DLC for the Forbidden West DLC, Burning Shores.
Okay.
So
No spoilers.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
no spoilers. No spoilers for Forbidden West. That one's a little too.
I played Forbidden West, but the DLC not.
Gotcha.
No,
Okay.
you're just basically just hanging out at the shore, and it's burning. That's
I
all
mean,
there
the
is to
shore is
it.
burning, man. The shore.
Yeah. Burning Shores. Anyway, I really, really love Horizon. Really, like one of my favorite open world games. And I don't want to say I've played most open world games there are, because sometimes I start a game and then it loses me after 2 hours. That's just me, And happened to me, unfortunately, for Witcher 3. I guess because I'm not as big on high fantasy, I guess you call, like the Lord of the Rings kind of fantasy.
Yeah, makes sense. That's fine.
So yeah, I'm really like a Japanese fantasy kind of guy. But Horizon, man, when I first saw the gameplay for Rebirth, I got these Horizon vibes right away. And then they walked past the walls where the ledges that you can climb are indicated by yellow. Like they could have used basically any color, but they used the same exact color as in Horizon. And Horizon Forbidden West, you can actually turn it off in Horizon Forbidden West, so they won't show where you can climb, but I always have it turned on. So basically every wall that I pass that is climbable is just like yellow lines all over the place. I think that's cool. It takes you a little bit out of the immersion, I guess, but
yeah,
I like that.
With Rebirth, it seems as if we got the little indicators on the wall for the chocobos that you can you can use the mountain chocobos on. You can basically climb from what it looked like. You can climb anything in Rebirth. Like you can just clamber right on up there.
Please be like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
please.
Seems.
Oh man,
seems
I
that
love
way.
Breath of.
Not Breath of the Wild style. I don't think we're gonna have the stamina bar like as you're climbing it, but because what would be there would be no purpose for the chocobo.
I just mean the aspect of like anything you can see, you can go there.
Yeah.
And that feeling, that is what I'm looking for in an open world game. Ever since Breath of the Wild came out, I didn't really know. Well, I don't know if I was thinking about it being possible, but I never thought about that aspect before that much. I guess I didn't know it was in the cards. I was satisfied with the kind of open worlds that I was that I was used to.
Mhm.
But I also loved Final Fantasy XV's open world, and
That's
I
another one
guess
too.
not
yeah.
not
Oh,
many people do. I don't know, from what I've heard.
Come on, man! I loved it. So like with
I loved it.
they mentioned it as an inspiration, obviously just because it was like the game they
Yeah.
worked on beforehand. That Final Fantasy like had gone away from it, open worlds, and with Final Fantasy X, they mentioned that with Final Fantasy X, they had to with the restrictions of everything, they had to move away from open world, and Nomura was actually coming from Nomura. And he's like, I always felt like that was such a core aspect of Final Fantasy to bring that back. Now with 15, they did try to bring that back, and I think they did. I liked it. I liked what they did with it. I love the road trip with the boys. I call it the funnel. Call it the funnel. So what they do with 15 is they open up the world completely to you. Just you can have this this great road trip, and then all of a sudden you get funneled into the story, which it's like once you hit a certain point, it's like you're linear, you're on your way, which is kind of a reverse of what a lot of games do. Usually they linear and then open up, especially like Final Fantasy 13. That was very linear, and then it was like, hey, open up. Final Fantasy 10 linear. Here we go. There's the Great Plains.
I actually prefer it that way. If it has
Yeah.
to be, if there has to be a linear part, I prefer it to be open first.
Okay, yeah. See, I
I
thought
guess
that
that's
was
the feeling that I look for.
Yeah, so they were inspired by that. It seems that which I'm really I'm really happy with anyway, but they were inspired by the original Final Fantasy VII for this one. Whereas you start unlocking the map slowly but surely, which is just any Final Fantasy really. That's like back in the day, the retro Final Fantasies, that's how they did it, I mean, you get this kind of gated open world. It's like, hey, here's the grasslands. Have some fun with that. We're going to cross the Mithril Mines. You'll go into the Junon area. And then here's the Junon area. But with the Final Fantasy on PS1, it was just Cloud walking on the world map to the next location, getting into some battles. What they're doing now is even like, it's so thrilling to me, and it's to see Final Fantasy VII this way is so exciting. To like, they've basically recreated the world map, overworld, because they shrunk and condensed the world map into this explorable zone. Now, I had said this in one of my videos, and I'm glad to be wrong, right? I'm glad to be wrong. I said there's no way it's going to be open world. I think it was going to be zoned and stuff like that.
I saw that.
And I was like, the only other way I got into a conversation with somebody in the comments, I was like, the only way they would do it is if they basically recreated the overworld in some way, like, and like you just add like little tiny villages. Now, that doesn't seem to be the case. The only thing I can say is that it seemed like Midgar's off in the distance, and then I literally broke it down of why Midgar would be almost the entire size of the continent that they've shown already, based off of the measurements that we got. That's besides the point. But they've kind of recreated the vibe of the open world. But this time, you get so much stuff to do. Like, just in the grasslands alone, we saw that Calm had a post board for the Merc to do some jobs and stuff like that. Junon area has a bunch of stuff. We got crafting involved and all that other thing. So there is so much to do in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and they've populated the world with that. And I'm really excited about it. And we've already talked about how Final Fantasy 15 was an inspiration. Horizon Forbidden West was an inspiration. Witcher 3 was an inspiration. And that was for the open world and side quest content. Now, we can kind of
Just a silly point to add, a silly fact.
Yeah.
So we have seen already, what was it, 20 minutes or something of gameplay, right, in the open world on the grasslands. And I don't know why, but I already have it now in my head at the exact point where I will head after they release me on the map. So there is, in the far distance, as far as you can look, there is a how you call it, a light tower,
Lighthouse.
yeah, like
the
a lighthouse
ships.
or
lighthouse. Okay, so in the far distance, right?
Uh-huh.
So I already know now I will head directly there. I don't get to the Chocobo Ranch directly,
And
so I will at least try. So I don't know if I can reach it, but I will try it.
where we're gonna
And
see.
it's already seeded.
Yeah, and like what?
Silly, but
I think I don't want to. No, maybe I won't point it out for you. Maybe keep the surprise for you. Oh, but like when I was doing the breakdown, we can just say that Beck's badasses are back. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure that's the location, and it was also one of the things that Chadley brought up. It's slipping my mind right now, but it has something to do with the Cetra or the Ancients. It's really important. I can't wait to see where that goes. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Can you help me out here? It's the why can't I think of this word? It has like this cool little icon for it. I don't know what it was called, but it definitely seems very Cetran related or ancients, so there's going to be some deep lore there.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. So that's one of those locations.
But I had someone speculate that they're not back. It's just a VR thing or something.
They would look like
along those
look like they were
lines.
out in the open world. They look like they were about in the open world. Yeah. So I'm gonna.
Oh, maybe we're talking about different stuff.
Beck's Badass
Okay.
is from Wall Market, or the collapsed highway. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. We're talking about the same. They're like up top.
Butch, yeah.
It looks like a tower. It looks like a tower kind of thing, overviewing, like with the ocean in the background.
Yes.
So that could be the lighthouse. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just heard some speculation. Just came to my mind that I heard speculation about them not being like real or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
To quote, before moving on from Horizon Zero Dawn and Inspirations here, to quote director Naoki Hamaguchi, this is an interview from a 2021? 2021. He says, quote, let's see. Oh, wait, let me read the question. What do you think of the below code? It appears to me, blah, 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 da, da, da. He's talking about the open world. Quote, Horizon Zero Dawn, the first game of the franchise, left a huge impression on me as a game creator. I was taken by the deep, immersive experience provided by the unbelievable graphics as well as the unique world I found myself in. A future where civilization has collapsed. In that sense, the next title is expected to evolve even further, talking about Forbidden West. So Final Fantasy VII Remake, in which I'm in charge of, is expected to do the same thing. For that, I have a personal affinity for Horizon. And that was coming from Reset Era. But yeah, so I kind of wanted to point that out there. And then we're going to move on to, let me see. All right, let's talk about movies. Let's talk about movies that inspired Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So those are the 3 games that were directly referenced by developers that I found. If you are in chat right now and you know of something else that a developer said that inspired Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, let me know. And yes, thank you, Lindsay Toddy. That is the word proto-relic. It was a proto-relic. So I'm very, very... Lindsay Toddy, what's up? Thank you for being here. That's awesome.
I would just like to mention like an honorable mention that I would hope they take inspiration from Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh,
like pretty much anything from that open world, I'm good.
Beautiful open world.
I'm fine with seeing in Rebirth, if as far as immersiveness is concerned, and also stuff that distracts you, like taking you off the beaten path, so to speak. But we already talked about that. That would be side quest kind of stuff. But also like, I don't know, tending to your horse for 2 hours is not really a side quest. It's just something that you're willing to do because you want to feel like you're actually living in that world. And I can't tell you how much I love like details like that, like unnecessary details that they didn't have to put in the game, but they did because they have a love for details, you know?
Yeah, I agree, man. All right, so let's talk about the movies. We're gonna go switch over to this one. I want to bring this quote up. This one's coming from Shinra Archaeology Department. You can go at Shinra Arc. It doesn't seem to be loading in all the way through, but so I'll switch over to this one. This is coming from the director, Naoki Hamaguchi, which, by the way, shout out to Naoki Hamaguchi. This is awesome, right? So, Nomura kind of took a, I guess not a backseat, but like in terms of press, you haven't heard really much from Tetsuya Nomura. And now Naoki Hamaguchi is kind of the voice of Rebirth. I mean he is the director, so it makes a lot of sense. So this is the first time that we kind of put him in the spotlight, and I think he has done such a fantastic job. And everything that Hamaguchi says just gets me hyped. Now, this one in particular, of course, is about Disney and the live-action Beauty and the Beast. So Naoki Hamaguchi says, when we first decided to do remake, our primary concern revolved around the balance of revising the original game while preserving its beloved essence. Considering Final Fantasy VII's immense popularity among the fans, the challenge lay in determining which aspects to retain and which to transform. Communicating these changes to both existing old and new players was a formidable task, as we needed to ensure everyone understood what are the changes we made and what aspects remain the same in the game. It's not really an inspiration from the previous Final Fantasy VII game, but there is one moment that made me clearly understand what to change for the remake of the game, is when I watched the Disney animation and its corresponding live-action adaptation. Observing the live-action film, I witnessed how they meticulously navigated the fine line between what to alter and what to uphold, all the while safeguarding the core narrative of the original animation. This insight helped guide our approach to the remake, enabling us to strike a balance between respecting the classic and ushering in exciting new dimensions. And that interview was coming from nmiagaming.com. I always like to just do my sources there, and that was from October 2023. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw that out. The live action Beauty and the Beast. Now, Tom, did you watch the live action Beauty and the Beast?
No, should I have? In preparation for this,
homework.
I'm just thinking. I didn't come prepared for this podcast. I didn't watch my Disney
fine.
live adaptation.
It's fine.
I like the Lion King one, but I didn't see that one. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No worries.
Sorry to say.
For me, it was one of my favorite live actions. The live action Disney ones have not really done so well, in my opinion. In my eyes, they have not done so well. I'm not really a big fan of them. I always prefer the original. But I think what Hamaguchi's pointing out, Beauty and the Beast, I was like, oh, sweet, finally. He's actually pointing out one that I actually like, so that's a good start. But yeah, basically taking inspiration from that to enhance certain moments, to change certain things that really maybe will make the story make sense and stuff like that. It's really cool. Christian, you said that you recently watched the live action Beauty and the Beast, correct or no?
No.
Okay, my bad.
You
were going to. Yeah, that's right. No, that's fine. I just kind of wanted to highlight Beauty and the Beast as one of the inspirations, and I don't think there's really much to talk about there because it's kind of straightforward of like, hey, this is why it's an inspiration to us. So, yeah, Major Trenton said I really like the remake of Beauty and the Beast, and yeah, like I said, of all the live action ones, that's probably my favorite one so far.
Well, if anything could make me watch a movie that I'm otherwise not interested in, it would be
it's this right here.
Someone who was involved in Final Fantasy telling me that it was the inspiration.
Right, exactly. All right, so one last thing before we move on to the next topic, which is get freaking hype. All right, you know what I mean? That's the part where we're just gonna start getting hype. One more inspiration to point out, and it makes me excited. Gives me all giddy here, Tom, because I know it gets you all. Here it comes, dude. Empire Strikes Back was mentioned, I believe, by Katase. I don't actually have the quote. I couldn't find it. But maybe while we talk about it here, I can find it. But yeah, so the Empire Strikes Back was said to be an inspiration for how to do a second act in a trilogy. And what's the best trilogy of all time? Star Wars.
It is.
Yeah, it's the Star Wars original trilogy. You know,
and I love that it's so easy to say that, and you don't feel bad about it because so many people agree. Like the amount of nerds out there agreeing, probably verbally agreeing with us as they watch this. It's just something that everyone can agree on, and it's so amazing to have a series of movies that just touch people, so many people in the same way.
Yeah.
And especially Empire Strikes Back, because of that twist that immediately went into the history books for good reasons.
Yep.
I think it was the first twist I experienced in my life in a movie. And now, I don't know how many years, 20, 25 years later or whatever, I have this huge list on my computer that keeps getting longer and longer with movies with twists. Like I keep a list and I try to watch every movie in existence that has a somewhat decent twist. I'm addicted to twists. And unfortunately, the one twist in Final Fantasy VII we're already aware of.
Right.
But I love that there is this sense of like we're getting more twists because they changed the story up with the whispers and stuff. And we don't really know 100% where things are going.
So that is definitely something I want to talk about, and how Empire Strikes Back can impact, as an inspiration. So let me read the quote real quick. So this is from Katase, producer, Yoshinori Katase. Quote, "There is a lot you can learn from that film in terms of how to do a second part of a trilogy well. All explained in..." Okay, I'm sorry. "You've got the setup, the setting, the characters, who they are, all explained in the first part. The real role of a second part of a trilogy is to deepen that, explore it further, go into the relationships between the characters and how they relate to each other a lot more, which is very much what we focused on here. Also, linking through to the third part, the climax of the trilogy, obviously, you have to have the big twists, the unexpected aspects, the things that will throw people a little bit. Get them motivated to want to see what happens in the end of the story. Like I say, there is a lot you can learn from that film," as he reiterates again. "It is very good to bear in mind in terms of the right way of going about a second part." So the way he says that, I feel like I saved this one for last because it seems like the inspiration, at least for Katase. This one,
and that's such good news.
Super good news, man. It makes me want to go watch. I'm gonna go watch Star Wars trilogy again for like the 1000th time. Maybe I'll get my son involved. I don't know when it's too soon. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to introduce Star Wars and then he's like, "Oh, this is boring," and then I'm like, crap, I ruined that because he's not old enough to understand. You know what I mean? Like, it's
as
a balance.
I said,
it's a balance.
My son is only 2, and I have to admit, I can't wait to introduce him to all that like beautiful media in general, the games, the movies.
It's like Lord of the Rings. Like I want to introduce him to Lord of the Rings, but I'm like, it's too soon.
Yeah.
It's too soon.
Yeah.
It would be like, this is 3 hours. It's boring. I don't want to do it anymore. And then for the rest of his life,
that's one of the hardest questions to me. Like, when is time?
I know that I have a daughter, and so obviously it's not Star Wars for her, but I cannot wait to show her the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, right.
So.
Come on.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast.
Come on. There's
Beauty
so
and the
many
Beast.
things that we love. So. Or Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, it's a good example. Actually, I could probably show Beauty and the Beast as like, oh yeah, we're doing movie night tonight. Beauty and the Beast. Why? I don't know. I thought it'd be cool to watch. It'd be a cool watch. This being such a major inspiration, let's talk about it a little bit, right? What does Star Wars Empire Strikes Back? What does Empire Strikes Back bring to the table that you would like to see Rebirth kind of adapt? To kind of start this off, Empire Strikes Back, like Katase was saying, definitely sees the characters develop further. It goes into the concept of the Force, right? It goes into that. So it's reiterating and building upon the concepts that were introduced in the first one. So now we'll do a little compare thing. Rebirth, that would be the Whispers, I guess, the unknown force of what's going on, which I feel like Rebirth will kind of go into that, the Force, the Whispers. And then you kind of have the character development. We got to have the bonds between those characters strengthened. What have we been talking about for so long is how they are going to strengthen the characters and synergy combat and all these moves and stuff. And the side quests that build upon that too. One thing that Empire Strikes Back does that I don't know how Rebirth, if they're even going to bother with it. They don't have to go 1-for-1. But I'm saying Empire separates the party, or separates the crew, or the characters, and gets them off doing their own things. So that is one thing where, like, Luke goes to Dagobah, and he's learning more about that Force, and I don't think Cloud is going to go to Dagobah, and he's not going to run into, like, a Yoda-type figure. Unless the Yoda-type figure is Zack.
Well, I took a lot of notes.
Okay, dude,
like,
break them down for me, Tom.
Well,
break them down for me.
I already told you my hype is too real, and I might go a little far into the rabbit hole, and my ideas might come across a little far-fetched. So you mentioned Master Yoda.
Yes.
To me, the Master Yoda. So I'm just gonna mention some, like, for example, characters that to me seem the most similar to characters from Star Wars. So let's just say the Master Yoda of the Final Fantasy VII universe would be Bugenhagen.
Yeah,
Bugenhagen.
come on. Yes,
Sorry
of course.
for pronouncing the German name in a German way. Bugenhagen, I guess.
I mean, I like that. Sounds good to me.
Sounds very German.
I mean,
yeah,
that's probably how you say it.
To me, he is Master Yoda, basically.
Uh-huh.
Like, in what way? Well, he knows pretty much everything there is to know about the planet and the live stream. To me, the live stream is the Force in Star Wars. It's very much
beautiful,
like where the characters that have special powers derive their special powers from. So the Jedi in Star Wars, they get their powers, so to speak, from the Force, or they work through the Force, so to speak. And the soldiers in Final Fantasy are infused with Mako that comes from the live stream. So that kind of makes sense. And I'm not sure where I'm actually spot on with these comparisons.
I mean, so far, so good. You know what I mean, Tom?
Okay.
So far, so good.
All right. So, yeah, basically, the Master Yoda thing, Bugenhagen is not training Cloud to be a soldier. So, in that comparison, in that sense,
but enlightening,
make,
yeah. I mean, it's a very enlightening guy. So
enlightening, yeah, but he's enlightening the whole party.
Old
pretty
and
much.
wise.
He doesn't have a special connection to Cloud per se as the protagonist, while Yoda very much does. And Yoda also trained a lot of other Jedi who then in turn became masters to others. Well, actually, he's probably not going to pop up. No, he's most probably not going to pop up in Rebirth. But let me still mention that Angeal always reminded me so much of Qui-Gon Jinn from Episode 1.
Yeah.
So much. Like the relationship between him and Zack, so much like the Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan relationship. And then Zack kind of went on to not train Cloud, but kind of take him under his wing. And that's what Obi-Wan did with Anakin Skywalker. So I don't know if there's a connection there.
Hey man, I'm on board. I'm following you.
Right.
There ain't no getting off this train we're on right now, Tom. Take me, man.
All right. Okay.
Take
so
me there.
You want me to keep going?
Go for it, man. I love it. I love it so far.
Okay. So speaking of Anakin Skywalker, I don't know if you were aware of this, and if that's even like, if it's even a thing really, but the real name of Red 13 that we're gonna get to learn in Rebirth is Nanaki. And did you know that Nanaki was an anagram?
For Anakin? Come on, baby, let's go,
okay.
man.
So that's a known fact.
Yeah.
Okay. So he doesn't really resemble Anakin in any other ways, except the name that he was given later on. He was given a different name later on by someone else. Hojo assigned the name Red 13, and Emperor Palpatine assigned the name Darth Vader to Anakin Skywalker.
True.
So there's a...
I like what Nori Hicks in chat is saying, that Red's relationship with Bugenhagen is like Yoda and Luke, in a way.
Yeah.
But real quick, also, Echo Base.
I like that.
Your full name is not popping up. Echo Base Network. Thank you so much for that super chat. That I really, really appreciate you. We run a Star Wars channel, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is my most anticipated piece of entertainment coming out in 2024. So many Star Wars references in
yeah.
Final Fantasy VII. Can't wait to play. Dude, thank you for that. That is awesome. Watermelons! My goodness, you guys. Thank you for the membership. That's awesome. I hope you enjoy it. I haven't really gotten any great perks there for you, but I really appreciate the support. I'm going to work on those perks, but thank you so much for your support, everyone. But yeah, go check out Echo Base Network if you want more Star Wars goodness.
Echo Base is in the right place. Like,
Right, we're
at the
talking
right
like,
time.
yeah, I gotta highlight them because we're talking about Star Wars right now.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so Tom, take me home with
All right.
this thing, man. Take me home with this.
Okay. Okay.
Because we're gonna get to the hype. But we gotta talk about the hype.
I'm just gonna drop a few quick ones.
Okay.
So Barrett is Han Solo. Cloud is Luke Skywalker.
Can I wait?
obviously.
Interject.
He's
I gotta God dang it, man! I told you,
I just
man.
wanted to drop it because it's so
Echo Base,
far-fetched.
have us on the show. No, I'm just kidding. Like, it's like I was telling Tom, I was like, we could just call this Star Wars Fan TV if we wanted to. But
gunslinging,
Barrett?
the gunslinging, yeah.
But also, I wanted to draw my own comparison that I took a note there too. You know how like in Empire Strikes Back, how these characters, they kind of have their own personal journey, and one of those characters being Han Solo, who goes to Bespin, who sees Lando, which is kind of like a Dine comparison, right? So
I was thinking that, but I was thinking that's too far-fetched to even mention.
Hey, it's a still
Someone else became my Lando.
It's kind of Han Solo, running into his past, which is Lando. And then Barrett running into his past with Dine. Both of them sketchy characters. like one of them.
I was looking for this. I was always looking for the sketchy part, and then because I couldn't really find the sketchy part, because Dine is really. He's
no Lando.
He's literally
he's
insane.
he's not Lando level, but I mean Lando isn't Dine level basically, but yeah.
And he's also not betraying the party. He's more like.
What do you think of that, Nero?
I know he's just killing everyone.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Nero? Does that make sense of why we're saying that's Barrett is Han Solo? Not personality wise, just story wise. But yeah, so. Go ahead, man. Keep it going. I'll try not to interject. I just get excited,
okay.
I'm just going to go after it.
Okay, Cloud is a lot like Luke Skywalker. He's the protagonist. He comes from humble upbringings in bumfuck nowhere and strives to become a hero. They're also both blonde. Coincidence? I think not. Actually, there's another tangent we could go on. So many protagonists, especially like from JRPGs, are blonde. I wonder why that is. It's fine for me because it helps me identify with them, but I've always wondered.
Luke Skywalker. Let's just keep it with. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. They're all inspired by Star Wars. Aerith and Princess Leia are both the last survivors of the tribe. Yeah, Aerith is the last Cetra, and Leia is the last survivor of her home planet, Alderaan. Do you say Alderaan in English?
I'll get you that.
Alderaan.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, like Leia watched her planet blow up. Aerith watched her mother die. I think at the train station.
According to George Lucas, I feel like I read this recently that she was actually the chosen one. So there you go. I mean, she's just as important as Aerith now. But
See?
like, I also like wanted to kind of throw out there as well that in Empire Strikes Back, there's the temptation to the dark side. And I really do think that Sephiroth being that temptation for Cloud is kind of going to be there as well. Like kind of, he will join us or die type thing. The Sephiroth is like, you will join me or die type thing, So
Right, true. Actually, the end of Remake, there are a couple of lines that really reminded me of dialogue between Darth Vader and Luke.
Yeah.
And then
you
join
have,
me, etc.
Yep. You have a character that seemingly dies. At least you one of the main character ends up in peril, right? Like it just they kind of parallel there as well. You have the big finale with Luke versus I wrote that down in my notes. Luke versus Sephiroth. So that's a thing. Cloud versus Sephiroth, Luke versus Vader, that kind of being a thing. Now, during that big finale fight was a major revelation. You know what I mean? Like during Empire Strikes Back. And we heard Katase, we saw Katase say that it was, you have to have those big twists. You have to have those big moments. And with him specifying that, like he's calling out like there was a big twist, big moment. One thing that we kind of all assumed was going to happen in Rebirth anyway. But if it's, you know, what is that? What's that going to be? We don't have to talk about it, but I'm just going to say that it's probably going to happen during that confrontation at the, you know, the Cloud versus Sephiroth confrontation, probably at the Forgotten Capital. And then Empire Strikes Back also ends with the characters, you know, at their lowest. I mean, like, this is the characters. Luke loses a hand. He finds out that the worst guy in the universe is freaking his father. You know, like, he's got a lot going on there too. You got Han Solo. Is he dead? You know, like, who? I mean, we're going to go. You know, he could be dead. He's frozen in carbonite. But everything seems to be like this. You know, all hope is lost. But it is not. The way the movie ends actually is pretty hopeful in a way, where it's like Lando and Chewie fly off to go to Jabba the Hutt, go see where Han Solo is at, and bring him back type thing. You have Luke repairing his hand. He's, you know, looking off into the galaxy with Leia, R2-D2, and C-3PO, and they don't say anything. They just let the camera do the work. And then you can see that there's this sense of hope. I feel like if this is how they're going to present Rebirth, and like this is how they take inspirations from Empire Strikes Back, you build up to that moment, the Forgotten Capital. I say you go through with it. I think they will. Who knows, right? But I think if it is Empire Strikes Back inspired, I think you have to have some sort of moment where something bad happens, like, you know, something like really devastating is happening. And I think that's what they're going to do. But what happens in the original after that happens? Well, you go back to the place where you rest at the Forgotten Capital, where Cloud's kind of laying down. He's gone, man. Like, he doesn't want to do this anymore type thing. But his party comes in there and like inspires him to keep going. It brings that hope. So if you end Rebirth with that moment, and then you follow it up with that moment of just like letting us feel all the emotions that we can feel. I mean, of course, Star Wars wasn't this deep. Like, it wasn't that. We weren't crying over Han Solo, I don't think. But it's kind of like, let us feel that, and then give us a little bit of hope of like, all right, Cloud, you know, we got to keep going forward. We got to do it for Aerith. We got to go. And then it's kind of this uplifting in a way, like part 3 is hopeful, and then credits. And then play that freaking Promises to Keep with a slow piano, man. Make me cry. Make me cry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like if we are going to go with Empire Strikes Back, that's kind of where I see that happening. So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then we go snowboarding in the next.
And then that's a beautiful way to start part 3, right? Like, I mean, that's such an awesome way. We've had 3-4 years to contemplate and cry and think, and then it's just like just excitement. You get the snowboard.
That's
I
a good question, actually. So, do you think we wait for the PS6?
Oh wow! I mean.
Oh, hopefully.
Yeah, we wait till PS6 so we can get that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Intergrade, the upgrade for the PS6. You know, you get the upgraded version. We actually get the Part 1 and 2 upgrade edition, and then we go into the 6 or Part 3. No, I don't think so. I think it's going to come out. I think it's going to come out right at the end of the life cycle of the PS5. I think it's 2027. That's my opinion. It's an anniversary.
In one way, I hope that too. But,
yeah, it's an anniversary.
Can you even imagine the PS6 power? What that beast will do?
Hey man, let's get that remaster. You know, we'll get I'll buy it again. I'll buy it. I'm a sucker.
Sure.
Yeah, give it to me, man. Yeah, sure. Give me that FF7 Trilogy Intergrade. I'll take, or not Intergrade, but complete. Give me complete. I'll take it. Yeah. So. Yeah, go ahead. If you got some more? I want to like. I'm looking at the time, and I just kind of wanted to. I want to move on to the hype moment. So, what you got for Empire Strikes Back to close this out for me, Tom?
I have a theory.
Okay.
And so we've been introduced to Sid in one of the trailers, and wait. what's the word? I was gonna say what stroke a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't sound right.
I mean, some people.
Like what strikes a lot of people, a lot of fans, is that the line that he delivers to Aerith, I think it was, is very unlike the Sid that we know. He's not grumpy. He's like really welcoming and really nice to her, and you just get the feeling that he's not being for real, and that he's betraying the party. That he might be betraying us at first.
He's
so he
Lando.
might actually. That's why. Not only because of that, he first popped into my mind as Lando because he's the pilot of the crew, and Lando is very much, the pilot guy.
Oh my God! Tom.
But he's also the gambler guy. Like he gambled. I think he was addicted to gambling, and he had some debt that the Empire was actually going to pay him back for whatever. Like they got him somehow.
You did it, Tom.
To betray.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it. I like
that.
Okay,
and wasn't
Lando
Sid?
Than, Dine.
Yeah, wasn't Sid a gambler as well? I don't remember.
I mean,
but he
looks like he could be the type. I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, he's definitely the stereotype. Yeah. Anyway, that's my theory that we're gonna get somehow betrayed by him at first because he's still loyal to Shinra in a way. I mean, out of all the characters, he, I guess, is still the closest to Shinra when we first meet him. I think.
So Vincent,
it's just a theory.
Vincent Graymore in chat says, I don't think he will betray us, as his fast travel service should not be removed from us. Now, here's the thing, though, Vincent.
Yeah.
The betrayal could happen right before the Temple of the Ancients, or, well, you got to get us to Bone Village somehow, right? But yeah, either way, I think that the betrayal is going to happen like right when you don't need to travel the world anymore. I think it's going to.
So you believe?
I agree.
You believe
with
in that?
Man. Oh yeah, I mean, well, I had actually speculated that myself in my video that I made, where I was like,
maybe that's where I got it from. Maybe that's even where I got it from. I'm sorry.
I was like, hey, listen, we might have the same. I don't know.
But the Lando thing I came up with. The Lando comparison.
The Lando thing was great. I love that.
That was me.
Yeah. No, I actually kind of in my analysis video of that, I had said that I think he's being friendly because I was trying to make it make sense to me in my head. I was like, well, why is he being so friendly? And you could almost see the body language with Aerith and Barrett, kind of like they don't seem like like what's this guy doing? He seems a little sketchy. But it could be friendly because I mean this man is desperate. He wants to go to space, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to do it. And I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him to be the point where he betrays the party to give the keystone to Shinra or like do something like that instead of Kate Sith. It's Sid that does the betrayal with the keystone. I wouldn't be surprised about that. Now like it's Vincent was saying, it could be like, well, how do we get to Bone Village? How do we get to the Sleeping Forest? Like we don't have a travel system. But either way, I think part 3 we find Sid in his house, like just a grumpy dude, and everything would line up perfectly because he'll be exactly the way he was in the original when we meet him at Rocket Town in part 3 if he betrays the party, because he'll just be miserable with the choices he made. And then, like he'll want to, hopefully he'll want to make things right, and he'll join your party and everything like that. And then he'll be like, let's go get the freaking high wind. They want to take my tiny Bronco. I'll take their high wind. Go get it. But I honestly think that's.
Yeah. Sorry.
There's also another explanation possible.
Okay.
So yours perfectly fine. But I also heard the theory that he actually knows already the future. So like certain characters know things that they shouldn't know.
Right, when Aerith touches them or something.
And that if he would know that how important Aerith is and what she will do, and so that he's directly very helpful and is his better self already, that he becomes after a certain time in the OG. So
I mean, like I agree. It's very possible. Like when Aerith touched Red 13 and kind of gave him knowledge, all of a sudden, like
Mm.
and Marlene and things like that. So possible, and he could be like, Aerith, I want to do whatever I can to help. You know what I mean? Like, oh God, you just gave me future stuff. So like, it could be like that. So yeah, I mean, like, that's the inspiration side of things. I hope you guys enjoyed that little chat that we had. I mean, are you guys excited about that, everybody in chat? I mean, we got Empire Strikes Back. Are you a Star Wars fan? Does that make you excited? You got Beauty and the Beast live action on how to handle remaking a classic. You've got Horizon, Zero Dawn, and Forbidden West for the open world aspects of things. You've got Witcher 3 for the open world and the side quests and how to do them properly, which, God, we spent some time on that one because it's so freaking good. That's one of the inspirations. Of course, Final Fantasy 15 is there, and Final Fantasy 13 as inspirations as well. So I think we have some good, solid DNA within this Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. You know what I mean? Like some solid inspirations there, and it's very exciting. But you know what else?
Not to forget the strengths of itself, right? So the soundtrack, I think, of the OG, for example, or something that so Witcher cannot compare to the soundtrack of Final Fantasy VII.
If you ask me, nothing can. Really.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's the
I
best.
just wanted not to say that, but
yes.
No.
And speaking of the
yes.
soundtrack,
That's okay.
okay, man, great segue because we got the soundtracks on sale. Just went on sale, so if you want the Rebirth soundtrack, it's on sale right now. And they did a.
It's $80 though.
It is $80, but it comes with the.
It is €80 as well.
The first run of it actually comes with a bonus 8th disc that has minigame music that didn't fit on the 7 discs of the original soundtrack there. So if you're excited about that, you can go pre-order it. Comes out, I think they said April on that website. So I will be doing that after the show. I never got the first one. I was upset with myself.
But the Spotify. Do you listen to Spotify at all?
I used to listen to Spotify before I got rid of it. Switched over to YouTube Music since I have a premium thing. But yeah.
Like I listen to the remake soundtrack pretty much daily. Like whenever I go for a walk with my son, we go walking through the forest. I put that on speaker. I bought a mobile phone holder for bikes that I put on the like what's it called, the wagon, or the trolley.
That's amazing.
And we listened to
man.
Final
It just
Fantasy
blasted,
for hours. And
That's
by the way, his first 2 English words are final and fantasy. And he just runs around going, Final Fantasy.
Oh man, that's
so good.
fantastic, dude. I love that. I love it.
So cute.
Oh, I love it.
One of you at the concert?
What's up?
Which
now?
concert?
Was one of you in the concert for a remake? So the live orchestra
Coming up.
concert thing?
I'm going to a concert coming up. The one that's on March 1st. Or
Distant World.
I think it's a Distance World. I think so. But yeah, so I'm going to that one. I'm excited because it's gonna be my first Final Fantasy concert. So, and it's the day after Rebirth, so I'm kind of like, I don't want to run into anybody and they're like, hey, dude, I played it like all night long, got no sleep, and I'm like 10 hours in, 20 hours in. Here's everything that happened. Like, dude, don't you do that to me. But anyways, yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, that's a great little point there because it is pre-orderable. That was a nice little segue into that. And then I'll also segue off of your Spotify. It's not going to come to Spotify until a long time because, Rebirth or Remakes album was on Spotify. It's on there now, but it didn't make it until like years after it came out. And the Final Fantasy 16 OST still not on Spotify. So
that's a pity.
There's an EP. There's a couple, but not
just a couple songs, right?
Yeah.
And then the deluxe edition comes with a mini soundtrack, but that's only a couple songs as well, like maybe 10, I think it is, and from the early on in the game.
Did you
wait,
guys
is it a hype
get
night? Subtext.
Collectors?
Every night on Final Fan TV is a hype night, baby.
That's
Except
right.
for 2 nights ago, that was pretty bad. But I'll own up to it, man. It was a terrible stream.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. I love Jay,
don't talk
though.
about
Jay
that.
and Dr. Robert Moe, fantastic guests. But, man, I'm so sorry. I spent 3 hours with that. But Did you guys discuss the new short story of a young Cloud coming out? Thank you, Renaissance Elf. That's another one that's I wanted to speak of. That one is coming. I got quote here. I got a quote for it. Let me bring that up.
Wait, what?
Yes. So we got a new short story coming out from Nojima. Here it is. Bring that.
How did I not hear about this?
Oh wait, that's not the one. Where's it at?
What?
This is coming from Genki. At Genki_JPN.
Of course.
A newly written story by Kazushiki Nojima about a young Cloud titled 2000 Gil Leading to a Hero will be included in the upcoming FF7 Rebirth World Preview book. Just like in how the remake World Preview book had Picturing the Past. So this one's going to be another little short story in the upcoming World Preview book. So really exciting.
Wait, are you talking about this book?
I'm talking about that book.
Are you talking about this one?
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one who had it.
Oh man, no, I got mine.
I was desperately looking for a strategy guide, which was never released.
Oh man, I wish they would bring those back. Just so collector's items.
That was the closest thing to a strategy guide I could get on Amazon.
I think we're just old. No, you just look it up, man.
I love strategy guides so much.
I love them too. I used to buy them just to look at the key art. Just look
Especially
at
the
art inside
piggyback ones.
Yeah.
Piggyback makes the best strategy guides.
Shout out
I
the
need
strategy
one
guides,
like
man.
Final Fantasy 15. Yeah, please.
Shout out the strategy guides, man.
It's so important
long
to
gone.
mention the strategy guides
Gone
because
but
no
not
one
forgotten.
does.
Gone but not forgotten.
Exactly.
You know, like, yes. But yeah, so we got a new short story coming out, just like Picturing the Past was in the world preview of Remake. So that's exciting news as well. But then we have look at this. This is oh my goodness. Please tell me, does anybody know how to pronounce this? I'm gonna butcher it. Taipei? Taipei game show coming up. These pictures are from at CVX Freak. But here, look at these. Look, man, we got a booth right there for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We got the Chocobo Square. It looks like the Nibelheim demo is up there, as we have looks like they're able to play the Nibelheim demo, which is something I was looking for. I'm looking for, like, on those press events. Obviously they were really strategic on where they took those pictures. I'm like, what's the background got? What's in the background, what's on those screens in the background, but there was nothing. And we'll talk about that in a second too. But here's some pictures, man. Looks like they're sharing a booth with Bandai Namco, which has many to believe, like Blitz believing that Tifa will be announced as a guest character in Tekken. So that's kind of exciting as well. Here's the 19 inches of Sephiroth. Can't wait to put that. My wife was saying, where are you going to put it? And I said, in my heart. Come on, man. So then we got some other figures on display in the steelbook as well.
I already told my son about it, and he calls Sephiroth Böser Mann, which is evil man.
Evil man.
And I keep telling him that I'm getting a super cool, super big statue of Böser Mann in a couple of weeks.
Love it. I got mine pre-ordered too. My parents actually got it for my Christmas present. They knew I couldn't afford it, and
Whoa.
I told them how like upset I was. I was like, man, I run a freaking Final Fantasy Entertainment podcast network, and I can't get that. You know what I mean?
Dude, you're so lucky. That's so considerate. My parents have no idea what I'm interested in. I feel like I only get socks and candy.
I wanted to spotlight this because I thought this was a really cool artwork by Elena Chatnor. This is basically a red carpet premiere. I think that's so cool. Let me see if I can bring that up.
Okay, so it's not official.
No, this is not an official.
Because I thought, whoa, how did I miss that one too?
Well, it was really cool, so I bookmarked it. I kind of think maybe I'll start doing that from now on these podcasts, like the little community spotlight. But yeah, I thought that was really
sweet.
Cool. And then let's see, we got coming up. But this is the second piece of news, I would imagine, because first we have a London community event that just happened, but I haven't heard anything come about. Subtext, help me out, man. Has anything come out of that yet? The community event in London? I believe it was just for some signings, right? I know Subtext has been keeping up with it, so.
Guys, I'm gonna go to the toilet real quick. Okay.
Oh yeah, go ahead, man.
That's fine.
I'm over here pinching it. No. We got Rebirth. We'll have a special stream on January 27th from 2 p.m. to 2:50 p.m. Japan time, live from the Taipei Game Show 2024 with co-director Toriyama and battle director Endo. So this is really exciting because it's a almost a full hour of a presentation that will be live streamed, Christian. So I feel like they gotta show us something, right? They're gonna show us something new. Do you think that's gonna be a thing?
I'm ready and I'm hopeful and I cannot wait.
Yeah.
So I personally also hope for sure for a demo. That's I think that is is clear. But so I also hope for a demo that is actually where Final Fantasy 16 where you can continue your play, right?
Yes.
Not the, let's say, the press demo where they showed off to. So I also take that one, but yeah, this two separated, very press release kind of demo, right? So
this one's for Kalia. Hold on.
yeah.
We got breaking news coming in. We got breaking news. Kalia says that she's hearing about someone saying that the confirmed sailor suits in Rebirth. Where we got that, Kalia? I need a link. You know what I mean? Breaking news. I need that link. It says the sailor suits will be back. I need a quote. Some hard evidence there. So that's pretty exciting. No impressions from LA or UK yet. In subtext, I want to talk about that as well. So I know that they did a press event with content creators and media to come in and do a behind closed doors or a private event or whatever you want to call it, showing of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in the UK and over in LA earlier this week, or this week, in the span of this week. Now, we all understand how that works. We know that Final Fantasy 16 did something similar, where in Final Fantasy 16, they invited people to, I believe it was London again. Over in London, they were able to get their hands on, and then a couple days passed, and then they were able to drop it, and YouTube just absolutely flooded with content to watch of people's hands-on impressions and things like that. So they're probably doing something very similar with these events here. And I think that embargo is going to lift. That's why I saved this for the end. It could lift tonight. It could lift tomorrow. It could lift on what I assume would probably be the best date for it, January 31st, which is Final Fantasy VII Day, literally a national holiday over in Japan. So it's an actual thing. We're just not calling it that. It is an actual Final Fantasy VII Day over in Japan.
Can I just add something there?
Yeah.
Real quick. Like, how many days after the event for 16 did the demo drop?
That is something I really should look up, right? If we want to do it that way. So I can do here. I'll type it in while. So I'll go press event.
I believe it was 4.
Okay, London.
I'm not 100 on that one.
About like 4 days. And then we got to also think, but this time they're doing 2 different countries rather than in 2 different locations, rather than just doing like London and then you wait, because they flew people out from, like I think Blitz was one of them that was able to fly out there. Midna was able to fly out there to it and get their hands-on impressions, and it was all based out of London in that cool like I don't know, it's like a castle or a church or something, but really old school thing.
Yeah, true, where they had the sword.
Yes. So I'm gonna just type in and see when.
Christian, did you play Final Fantasy 16?
Yes, but I don't rate it 10 out of 10. So
Okay.
I
Well, I wouldn't.
don't want to make the Warrior of Hype angry and get the first one cancelled on this show. So
I think it's no. I
let's
think
not
it's
touch
fine.
that topic. So-
I think it's fine. We already talked shit about Final Fantasy 13 a little bit, even though I really enjoyed that game.
This
We
one's
only
yeah.
took the aspect of linearity and talked about that one.
So May 8th, it says I broke Final Fantasy 16 in front of Yoshi P. This is coming from @Blitz on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
At BLTZ for anybody who doesn't know this, but at BLTZ Z7. Let me just bring that up. So I broke Final Fantasy 16 in front of Yoshi P. The Final Fantasy 16 London Q&A highlight has been uploaded. So this was on the 8th. It was uploaded.
Okay.
So when did he fly out? You know what I mean? We're gonna do some freaking sleuthing here.
Yeah.
When did he fly out?
I think maybe my theory doesn't check out.
Well, hold on. No, we haven't found out when he flew out. It's because he said he was flying to London.
But be that as it may, I'm pretty sure it's gonna a demo is gonna drop between now and the 31st of January.
We're talking April 24th. So I mean that's almost like 2 weeks worth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind that it might not be January 7th as well, but yeah, I mean or not January 7th, January 31st on FF7 day. But I feel like that is probably
the anniversary. It would be perfect.
And what can be so hype about that? You know what I mean? Well, what could come out of that? Probably a new demo. Now, here's the thing that I'm seeing over on Twitter as well, which I will go back to my bookmarks. We got people talking, people that were able to go to the event, and I just highlighted just one of those that I saw. And I don't like that it brings it over in a separate window, man. I'm trying to look at it in this one. You know what I mean?
I thought you were already talking about the demo.
Here we go.
I was on the toilet and I figured.
Oh no! Here we. So here we go. We got Deputy Aru, Aruu. Says they're thinking about something very shocking, and I just want to talk about it, but I cannot. All right, listen. The only reason why I'm highlighting this because it gets me excited. It gets me hype. All right,
it's the first of many.
Hype.
It's the first of many tweets or posts like that.
It's on Twitter for a reason. It's meant to get people hype, right? Now, is this about Rebirth? Getting hype? Then somebody else
so
says
many
you and me
people
both.
used the word shocking specifically.
You and me both. I can't wait. And this guy here, Onyx Talks. Also was there, I believe. I don't know. I thought it was.
You and me both.
You and me both. But either way, it's exciting. It's so exciting. We got some things are buzzing. Things are buzzing around there. So there was a couple of weeks in between is what Subtext is saying. But yeah, I mean
how can I wait 27 years for a game and cannot wait now for 33 days?
Hype is the answer.
We can't wait any longer, man. We need it now. So I had always been of the mind, and I had been telling people, and I'm trying to be the warrior of hype. I remember King Valvados in our Discord was like, "Whoa, come on, warrior of hype," and I was like, "All right, I'll bring the hype." But I had always said I don't think we're gonna get a demo. But the fact that they have done this press event. And people are coming out of it saying it was shocking. Something happens that's shocking. I can't wait to talk about it. Is telling me that they've seen some things. You know what I mean? They've seen things. All right. And it makes me think if I had to put like a prediction on this, if I had to speculate, I think they have seen the opening of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I think they've seen the what we got in Remake, right? So Remake's demo came out almost exactly 1 month before the game. Came out in April 3rd. They gave us like March 3rd because that was going to be the original release date. And then they're like, crap, we got to push it back a little bit. And then they were like, hey, here's a demo. And then April 10th, right? So it was about the same amount of time in between. So like, here's your demo to satisfy you for 1 more month. And then you can play it. So if they get to play the opening of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that would parallel with Remake to have the opening demo on there. So you get to see the intro, the full CG cinematic thing. You get to go into Nibelheim, and you're doing the flashback. I think they got to see the flashback in its entirety, all the way up to the point where Sephiroth burns it down. That's my opinion.
That's a good.
You like that? That's
a good point. So I wanted to ask you about it, and so remember the first trailer that we got for Rebirth. So Sephiroth walking beside Cloud, right? You remember that?
Yes. Yeah.
Over the
Yeah.
bridge and yeah, and so we never saw this location again, right? So where takes this place?
And then he also has his shoulder guard on. He also has the traditional Cloud pauldron shoulder guard with the screws in it, which is something also to note because in the flashback he obviously has the two double guards on, and it's a flashback. He's in his more Zack traditional outfit, like the Zack soldier where he has the two shoulder guards. But in that scene in the reveal, he just has the one, and that was
but he wouldn't.
Shout out to Subtext. I got to point that out because Subtext put that in his video. He actually told me before the video came out. But yeah, like that was him that spotted it. I feel like before many of other people did. So shout out to Sub. What's up, Tom?
But if it's the actual flashback that Cloud is retelling in Calm, then he wouldn't remember the like Zack's outfit, right? Or am I?
Yeah, I think it. Oh, it says reconnecting. Oh no. All right.
Yeah, but
No, the stream is
152. 152. I'll try to keep note of that so I can edit that out. But it says I'm back. So we back? We good? All right, cool. So yeah, like he would be in the soldier traditional outfit if you're thinking back on being a soldier, right? I mean, I don't think Cloud always had the pauldron on, right? So he probably remembered a time when he didn't. But that's just kind of speaking, like loosely. When it comes to the flashback being very interesting, that when I pointed it out on my breakdown video, where it's almost coming from two different perspectives. Where Cloud is on the floor in one spot where he's like leaning up and he's like Sephiroth and like he's on the floor where he should be, and then you have him standing up, like in the next scene over when Sephiroth turns and walks through the fire. It's like that seems like two different scenes to me, rather than like unless if he just Dwayne the Rock Johnson springs up and then he's like, hey. I'm back. Then he sees Sephiroth cut down some people, but I think he maybe it's two different versions of that, and like Christian is saying, we didn't get to see him walking to Mount Nebel with Sephiroth, and him wearing the.
But so to conclude, you think that this time-wise this took place before the demo, the playable demo part from the press thing, where no, oh, you are such a puppy, this kind of thing. So, but why do we see then not the other soldier and Tifa walking beside them?
It could be two different things, in my opinion. It could be they're trailing behind. But then they get the soldier with Cloud's traditional pauldron that Subtext pointed out in his video threw me completely, where I'm like, yeah, that wouldn't be in the flashback, and it wouldn't be consistent with what we see in the Rebirth gameplay that that was released of the Nibelheim flashback. So it almost seems like that's a different scene. That's Cloud remembering something different, or it's when you get to Mount Nebel, when you actually travel there with your party, and then Sephiroth just takes over. And then he's just, or he works with, who knows what the heck is going on there, but I think it's separate from the flashback. And it could be, at least, or it could have been, that was 2 years ago and assets weren't in place or something. I don't, who knows? It was a trailer from 2 years ago, the reveal trailer. But yeah, I mean, those are the two different things where I think throughout the game, or at least what we talked about during the Let's Play, I said how things could change. When you get to Junon and Cloud goes to sleep in Junon, he starts, in the original game, the whole purpose of that is to question, like, wait a second, ask Tifa, something's not making sense. Ask Tifa when you wake up what happened 5 years ago, and why didn't you guys see each other? Whereas in Rebirth, it could be Sephiroth messing with him, like just even more so, like showing him things that from a different perspective of like, wait a second, I wasn't the hero. I wasn't jumping in buildings and saving people. I was down there. And then it's just like kind of really messing with him, and then like having him walk with him up Mount Evil to really just get in his head, stuff like that. But yeah,
that could be the moment where Sephiroth tells him that he killed Tifa, or he thought he killed Tifa. So who is she?
It's what we talked about too. And that
would the Tifa you're hanging out with?
Yep, that's what we talked about during that as well, during the stream, where it was just kind of like, this is Sephiroth. Instead of it being the voice in his head that's just like, hey, wake up and ask Tifa, what about that? And it could be Sephiroth going, I killed her, Cloud. So who is she? Like, oh, and then he wakes up. Now it's different. And then Tifa goes, what are you implying? That I died? That I'm some kind of imposter? What? So there's so many fun theories, you guys. But basically, I wanted to confirm. Kalia had brought it up earlier. Not confirmed because I don't have a hard confirmation, but we do have J Smith, MANC at J Smith MANC over on Twitter saying this. Hamaguchi-san confirmed to me in person the answer to the question you've all been waiting for. Sailor suits are definitely present in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So, there you go. Get it hype about that. I mean, that's exciting.
But who was doubting that? Was anyone doubting?
I kind of was a little bit because when you look at the Shinra 8 footage that we've gotten, they're not in their sailor suits. They're Cloud's walking around.
But you can see sailors in the backgrounds that don the exact same suits that we know from OG. True. And how could they pass on such a brilliant moment of comic relief, really?
Yes.
Like, they're on this journey, like, to save the world, but they're gonna dress up as pretty, like, fun sailors. You can't really take it serious, especially with Red 13. I mean, we all cannot wait to see Red 13, like, dance around or like whatever in his sailor outfit.
Yeah, it's
gonna be so good.
The two things: the Game Informer Rapid Fire. He said we'll have a favorable answer for Red 13 standing on two legs.
Yeah,
and then the like we were talking about earlier with inspirations. I mean, Beauty and the Beast. We were talking about how they taking classic scenes and making it go in. Making sure we keep big classic scenes. I mean, that's one of them. The sailor suit thing is one of it. You got to have it in there. It just had us a little bit concerned for people who were analyzing this stuff frame by frame. We were just like, wait a second, why is Cloud just walking around nonchalantly with a Buster Sword? He's like on the ship, he's fine. So when we were doing our Let's Play, I was just kind of like, well, maybe you have to get the suits in Junon. Maybe you're not wearing them on the boat. Maybe you're wearing them in Junon. You get on the boat, and once you're on the cruise liner, you don't need to wear them anymore. Rather than they stayed in the suits for a while until the stowaway was spotted, type thing. But I think even take them off.
Even in Junon, when Cloud is wearing the soldier outfit, like to be all undercover, he's still wearing the Buster Sword.
He just got that thing. He's just rocking the Buster Sword.
What
like,
the hell?
It's fine. It's fine. No worries.
What the hell? And no one's gonna pick up on it.
It's
like, what?
Is this a common sword? Yeah.
All right. So, but that game will have so many memorable moments. I cannot wait. Can you imagine? So they flashed the ship out, right? So make the cruise liner out of it. So and with one of my favorite characters, Madame M.
Yeah.
Whoa! Can you imagine what happens if they really doing how you say without spoiling? So the moment after or before the fight with Sephiroth on the ship or with Genova. So what happens there in the OG, and if that happens to many more people and to ordinary people and to favorites of remake, my heart
Don't say
will
that.
Be broken already. There.
No,
we're not supposed to spoiler like OG.
No, he's talking about.
Can we not talk about it?
We can talk about OG. Yeah, we can talk freely about OG.
Yeah.
Freely,
because
freely. Okay, I mean the massacre. So
this is a double.
Right,
This is a second warning. If you haven't played Final
so you're
Fantasy
worried
VII
about
original,
Madame M getting the old,
Getting the
Like,
old chopping
I
block, get her,
will-
yeah, just getting
Yeah,
her.
the
I
old.
will already cry
What
there.
was
So
what was the joke? Like, wait, there was. Was it your joke, Dan, with like the sword through the belly, like a belly button
Oh.
piercing? Whatever.
Why,
I can't
why did
remember.
Aerith go to the Forgotten City?
To get her belly
To
button
get her belly
pierced.
button pierced. Yeah, dad joke. I love it. I was so
ouch,
happy with
ouch.
that one. I was so happy.
Ouch, literally.
That-
Like on many levels, ouch.
That video hasn't gotten
Like an
very good
elevator
views,
joke being
but I'll
wrong on
tell you,
many
man,
levels.
Everybody should check it out, man. Everybody should check out my dad jokes. They're hilarious. Just like every dad thinks their jokes are funny. You should definitely.
I
check
can
it
use some. I don't have any yet.
out. Go
but-
check it out. But no.
But yeah, I'm interested actually. Why is Madame M one of your favorite characters? NPCs.
The voice actor is.
Oh,
Mallory
the German
Lowe.
or the English one?
Mallory
We-
Lowe.
we have
oh
English.
wait, English. Yeah.
English.
I,
okay.
I played on English.
I
so,
also play in
so,
English. Yeah.
and,
I've had Mallory Lowe on the show.
and,
Yeah.
Oh,
I have seen that, and she's also
Oh, true.
in real life very cool. So
Yeah.
very very likable.
That is interesting. I mean,
And she nails Madame M.
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. And we gave her Mad Libs, like took a quote and then like changed up the words in that,
That's
and she had to
right.
read it in character, and man, she did. She read it in character and like said some weird things, and it was hilarious. But no, like so, Madame M, great. We've seen Madame M in the Gold Saucer at least, so I think she makes the cruise ship. She's fine because we've seen her in the Gold Saucer. We've seen her. She was when you enter in the Gold Saucer, she's standing off to the side. So she makes the cruise ship. She's
God.
good there.
maybe she's advanced from hand massages.
Oh man, the Gold Saucer.
I don't know.
there
To
was
back massages.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Let's
scene.
see how
It's so
Cloud
good.
walks out of there if we get the
We're
most
gonna get
expensive
more.
one.
Yeah, God, give us more scenes like that in Rebirth. So many funny things, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like, Madame M better not be touched is what subtext says. Renaissance Elf says, I hope we see
Yeah.
Chocobo Sam meet up with Choco Bill. Yeah, I think they might even be related. You know what I mean? They might even be related, Chocobo Sam and Chocobo Bill.
They share the same first name.
Yeah, Chocobo. But yeah, so cool.
One of the deepest voices I ever heard in my life
Which one?
from
Bill?
the English voice actor. So yeah. No, Choco was Sam, right?
Sam, yeah, yeah.
Ooh,
Okay.
Kalia saying more information coming out of the London event. Dude, Kalia, get on the line here. We're waiting for some more information coming out of the London event. Good God, man. This podcast is I don't want to end because it seems like we're getting some good
Oh,
stuff
God.
coming out. But so what I want to do is I'm gonna pitch a question to you because Tom, I'm feeling it too, man. I'm feeling it too. So
what are you referring to? right now?
I'm gonna have to go for just a second, and then I'm coming back, man.
Oh, that feeling.
That's a
I
lot
know
of
that
water.
feeling.
You know what I mean? That's a lot of water within the little.
Mind you, I was pinching for the longest time, but
Oh shit!
you know,
You can't make me laugh, dude.
there's only so
Oh,
much I would
God.
do for you. Only so much I would do for this podcast.
So listen, we're gonna come back. I'm gonna look up while I'm in there. I'm gonna look up see if we got any more London information. Kalia, keep us
Alright.
informed in the chat too. I want to see, let me know if there's any links or people I need to be following for that stuff. I'm sure Genki and Audrey are one of them. But all right, so what are you guys most excited about for Rebirth?
You want to take this one
Where to start?
first? I mean,
Oh,
that's a
man.
very general question.
Yes,
Most
it is.
excited?
So, most excited, I cannot even tell, but yeah, the whole world, the characters, the music, man. So, the combat,
Oh yeah,
the mini
combat.
games, Jesus Christ, it will be the best game again.
The
I
best
keep saying
game
that.
ever made, if you ask me.
Yeah, it will be the best game ever again. So, and that is
Yeah.
that they achieved that really is a marvel. So,
Yeah, I mean, there are so many people who, kind of like, they're more, let's say, like skeptic about games, like new releases. For example, my brother, he's a total nerd. He plays so much more video games than I do, and he never buys games day one anymore because he got disappointed so much. And I'm always like, when I talk to him about new games, for example, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm always like, it's gonna be the best game ever. And he'll be, well, I don't know, because of this. And then there's gonna be like the wheel, the loading wheel. Okay, so don't.
That was it. I told you everything I told you everything I knew. Yeah, that was it. I had information directly from him. Directly
and it
from
took you like
Hamaguchi,
5 seconds to say all of it.
Yeah, I called in at the London event. I got information direct, and I told you everything.
Okay.
So there it is. What'd you guys think? all right. Let me break. God dang it, dude. All right. So this is coming from Jay Smith. I should have just clicked into it, man. Let's see what he's got.
What's the English word for this? Is it cuck? I don't know.
Oh yeah, cucked it up. Sure, that works.
We just got cucked. I don't know.
I think we're back though. We're back.
Makes
Everybody
sense.
says we're back.
Yeah.
So my gosh, we're
Back.
All right, I was trying to find the
Everyone's saying
original
back.
source, but this is Genki. Can you hear me? You can hear me, right?
It's always Genki.
Yeah, this is
Genki's
Genki.
always on it.
Had Genki on the show the other
Always.
week, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Gungaga will be an integral part of the story. Fort Condor location will be full scale in the game. So a full scale Fort Condor location. What's that supposed to mean?
Oh.
What's that supposed? Is it going to be like, is it in the open world, or is it kind of like, is he talking about you enter that island and then it becomes huge? I don't know what he's talking about. Is it like Midgar type thing is what I'm trying to say? Like, is it off in the distance, you cross a certain threshold and then you get the full scale? Or is it just like, hey, Fort Condor is a huge location rather than just, 3 screens in the original? You can do
full
side
scale
quests.
meaning it's like 3 letters. Climb up before. I don't know.
You can do side quests at any time. They are not locked off as you progress. So I guess no longer having to go chapter by chapter, even though they did say that they are doing a chapter system, I feel. But now you can just do the side quests anytime. Red 13's personality changes after Cosmo Canyon, which makes sense to me, because that's what happened in the original. But Red 13 being a little more, like, I don't know how you would even describe him, like kind of to himself, a little, not really friendly towards humans too much, but yeah. So there's gonna be some stuff happening in Cosmo Canyon. It's one of my most anticipated locations in the game. In Junon, Cloud has to build a team for the parade. You can customize your parade team. So that means it's kind of like I feel like when we saw that trailer, and then at the bottom of it, it had a list of soldiers, right? And I was wondering what that list of soldiers was all about. So this is Cloud building a team for the parade. Interesting. Interesting
indeed.
What does that mean? Over 100 hours to 100% the game, 40 hours for the story only. Of course, we knew that as well. But one of the big things being from this list is Fort Condor location will be full scale in the game, and Gungaga will be an integral part of the story, which is kind of what we suspected anyway. I mean, if Gungaga is going to be huge, because obviously it's probably going to lead us to Zack-centric mission or some sort of Zack interference.
Honestly, I don't really remember that much about Gongaga. I remember much more from Crisis Core, obviously. But we do get to meet Zack's parents, and they tell us about him without mentioning really anything that we can, like no one's picking up on the fact that it's Zack they're talking about or something. But what?
Gungaga. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gungaga is where
Nibelheim,
the new weapon will come.
Gongaga.
Oh yeah. Like, so Vincent Graymore pointing out Gungaga is where the new weapon will come in, which is in my breakdown video. I kind of was like, dude, location looks like the ruined reactor of Gungaga. Tifa looks like she's falling into it, and the new weapon, we're calling it, all right, rises up. We don't know for sure if it's a weapon. It probably
And
is.
she's being swallowed by that creature.
We don't know that.
Well, actually,
Do we?
I'm not 100% sure,
got spoiled.
and neither is Blitz, but Blitz made a video on it, and it makes a lot of sense, where you can actually see that the water or the liquid that she's swimming in resembles that big
The orb.
bowl
Yeah.
on the belly of that creature. Yeah.
The Bizarro. the Bizarro type creature, Bizarro Sephiroth. Let's see. Apparently, Fort Condor minigame is back. Come on, Audible. Come on, Audible. What are you talking about? Are you talking about? Are you serious? Where's this information?
The minigame, that would be awesome, because that I really love that one, and there were not enough contenders in intermission. I feel like
if there was there's
so good.
one thing that they should do and they did wrong was not making that multiplayer. Like, I want to play that online.
Yeah, and
so
also
fun.
I wanted to keep playing, but there was no incentive.
Yeah.
Like and it's also pretty easy. There are some ways to, beat the games.
Well, you didn't play it on hard mode.
Easily.
Hard mode.
I didn't.
Hard
Actually,
mode makes that makes that a little bit.
That's
It's a little difficult with hard mode.
Okay. Okay.
Nothing coming out of Audrey's side of things. Yeah, I mean, like, just keep me posted, man. I feel like I'm gonna have to make a video separately on this. Obviously, I feel like I would have to go. We would have to go all night long as this information is starting to trickle out. So I'll probably make a recap video on it. Because the stream has already been going on for 2 hours, but I didn't think it would have came out, like, you know what I mean, like, later. Yeah. So right now, London is having their community event, and that community event was open to basically the public who can buy tickets to get in, and that's what made me think. I was like, well, we're getting something out of that because the public is getting to know some stuff. It's not behind closed doors. It's not a press thing. And I was also like, well, they're not going to show them what the press, and the media was getting, because obviously they want them to have that. That was the whole purpose, to have the media be the ones that break the news. So I think this is just some Q&A. This is some fun stuff that's happening right now. But yeah, I'm so happy to see or hear about the sailor suits being back. I'm happy, or like confirmed at least. And I'm happy about, seeing like Fort Condor and stuff. And I would love to get confirmation on that Fort Condor minigame being back. But yeah, so there we go, guys. I mean, I think this has been a fun podcast. It's been exciting. And don't forget, everybody watching, don't forget tonight, depending on where you are in this world, in Japan time, it's at 2 p.m. tomorrow. It's gonna get a little wild here. As I try to do time zones. But yeah, 2 p.m. tomorrow, right? Yeah, here we go.
If we get, you just want to say, if we get tomorrow the demo or on the 31st, I wish you all the time of your life and enjoy it.
Oh, you're not gonna play it?
I will, for sure.
Oh, I
but
thought you.
I wish
I thought that
also
was
your
like...
audience. And
okay. For a second, I thought you were like, I'm sitting out. I'm going to play it when it comes out. I was like, oh, okay. No, we're obviously
Same.
gonna... Yeah, I was like,
Same to you, my
you are
friend.
a strong individual. Mentally, that'd take some mental fortitude right there. I mean, I'll tell you what. You know how hard it's
There's
going to
no
be for
way.
me to not watch the Rebirth launch trailer? Oh, God. So yeah, this is coming from a 50-minute live broadcast stage presentation at the Taipei game show on the 27th. This is at 2 p.m. Japan Standard Time. So if you are in Japan, 2 p.m. tomorrow. If you're in East Coast, that would be 12 a.m. tonight. If you are in Europe,
if you're in Germany,
Germany,
if you're in Germany, that's 6 a.m.
There you go.
I already set my alarm clock. I can't believe I'm doing this.
It's
So,
probably just
Christian.
going to be them like going over the footage we've already played of like the Nibel, or scene of the Nibelheim incident thing.
I don't know.
Mount Nibel, I mean.
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me be disappointment. I'm here for the hype.
In Portugal, it's 5 a.m.
Like
There
literally.
you go, Calio.
5 a.m. Portugal, yes. Also on Fuerteventura, as I found out. Christian, are you gonna get up at 6?
Yes, I think so.
Or do you have? Are you gonna get up at 6 for work on a Saturday anyway?
I do. I have to get up anyways.
Oh.
All right, so chat, everybody in chat, I'm going to leave you with a parting gift, so make sure you go do this if you haven't already. Oh, wait, let me get off of that. I'm going over to... Boom. I'm going to send
Final
you...
Feud?
Yes, the Feud survey. I want you guys to fill out this survey because coming up... Is it next week? February 3rd. Is that next week? I feel like that's next week. Coming up on February 3rd.
Yeah.
We have a Family Feud style game show. And it's gonna be so fun. So I've done this before on the channel. It's called Feud with 2 F's for Final Fantasy Feud. So I'm bringing in content creators such as Subtext right here in the chat as well, as Schrodinger's Baby Seal, Prof Noctis, Eyes on B is going to be in there as well. My goodness, this is going to be just a stacked thing. We got Tyler Hepner. I know you've seen some Tyler Hepner art. Okay, and if you haven't, please remedy that situation at Tyler Hepner. It's Tylor Hepner. And then I think I have more to announce. Or Genesis 7, I don't know if I've announced that, but here it is. I'm announcing it. Genesis 7 will be on the show as well. And maybe some other guests yet to be announced. So follow over on Twitter if you want to keep up with that. Now, I'm going to send this this feud over because what it is, it's a survey. And you are going to be directly responsible for the top answers on the board. All right, guys, this is on you, not me. So if you don't like the answers on the board, you should have voted. Okay, so if you think, oh, what's the #1 answer to best girl? And it's not who you thought it was going to be. That's on you. You should have voted. You know what I mean? So I'm going to send that over to you. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. There it is in chat. So follow that link and have some fun filling out that survey. Thank you so much for being a part of this one. Man, you guys, this is awesome. 70 viewers. My God, I'm grateful. I'm humbled, to have that many viewers and throughout pretty much this entire show, this 2.5 hours. That's really awesome. Hopefully you found it entertaining. And I'll see you Wednesday for the Final Fantasy VII Revisited continuation of the Let's Play series, comparing what we think is going to happen in Rebirth, what can change, what cannot. And then February 3rd for Feud. Thank you so much for watching this.